Thank you, Prime Minister Gillard. I want to double back to the topic of China. It seems there's a bit of a schizophrenic aspect to this week of summitry in the Asian Pacific, where China's participating from Hawaii to Indonesia, but then you have all the rest of you who are talking about, on the one hand, a trade bloc that excludes China, and now this and an increased military presence for the United States, which is symbolized most by this agreement the two of you have made for a permanent U.S. presence in Australia. What is it everyone fears so much from China? And isn't there some risk that you would increase tensions in a way that would take China might take some of the very actions you fear?
I'm happy to start with that and then go to the President. I think there's actually a theme throughout the work we've been involved in at APEC, some of the discussions here and what we will take to the East Asia Summit. We may be on a journey from saying aloha to g'day to Bali Hi or something like that, but I actually think in terms of strategic outlook it remains the same, which is both of our nations are deeply engaged with China as it rises, and we want to see China rise into the global rules-based order. That's our aspiration. I understand it to be the aspiration of the United States. It's something that we pursue bilaterally with China. It's something that we pursue multilaterally in the various forums that we work in. This East Asia Summit will have a particular significance coming for the first time with the President of the United States there and of course Russia represented around the table, so all of the players with the right mandate to discuss strategic, political and economic questions for our region. So I actually believe there's a continuity here. APEC fundamentally focused on trade and economic liberalisation. Here in Australia, long-time allies talking about the future of their alliance and building for that future, as you would expect, but also preparing for a set of discussions in Bali, which will bring us together again with our friends across the region.
Just to pick up on this theme, Jackie, I think the notion that we fear China is mistaken. The notion that we are looking to exclude China is mistaken. And I'll take TPP as a perfect example of this. We haven't excluded China from the TPP. What we have said is the future of this region depends on robust trade and commerce, and the only way we're going to grow that trade is if we have a high standards trade agreement where everybody's playing by the same rules, where if one set of markets is open, then there's reciprocity among the other trading partners, where there's certain rules that we abide by in terms of intellectual property rights protection, or how we deal with government procurement, in addition to the traditional areas like tariffs. And what we saw in Honolulu and APEC was that a number of countries that weren't part of the initial discussions, like Japan, Canada, Mexico, all expressed an interest in beginning the consultations to be part of this high standard trade agreement that could potentially be a model for the entire region. Now, if China says, we want to consult with you about being part of this as well, we welcome that. It will require China to rethink some of its approaches to trade, just as every other country that's been involved in the consultations for the TPP have had to think through, all right, what kinds of adjustments are we willing to make? And so that's the consistent theme here. This is a growing region. It is a vital region. The United States is going to be a huge participant in both economic and security issues in the Asia-Pacific region. And our overriding desire is that we have a clear set of principles that all of us can abide by, so that all of us can succeed. And I think it's going to be important for China to be a part of that. I think that's good for us. But it's going to require China, just like all the rest of us, to align our existing policies and what we've done in the past with what's needed for a brighter future. All right?
Thank you
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.